South Florida canals are home to many different species of animals, some native, others invasive. One such invasive and very ubiquitous species is the Muscovy duck, which can be found living all over South Florida. The Muscovy duck. All over South Florida waterways, Muscovy ducks can be found living by canals, in parks, and even crossing the stream. But what do most Floridians actually know about them? Did you know that they're an invasive species here in Florida? And they're also one of the only duck species in the world that don't quack? Throughout this video, I plan on shining a light on the mystery of who and what the Muscovy duck really is, and answering questions like where did they come from, what kind of life do they live, and how much of a threat are they to Florida wildlife? Also, very importantly, what you should do when you see them. The Muscovy duck, regardless of what the name might sound like, they are actually not from Russia. Originally, the Muscovy ducks come from Central and South America. Back in the 1960s, people started to bring them over from their native countries to have them here as pets or for ornamental purposes. Having few natural predators here in South Florida, the Muscovy ducks population grew quite rapidly, and today there is about 10,000 of them living here. Just like most ducks, the Muscovy duck lays eggs, and a female duck can lay anywhere between 8 to 15 eggs at a time, which she will incubate for an average of 35 days or until they hatch. Once hatched, the ducklings will stay close to their mother for about 10 to 12 weeks for warmth and safety. Once the Muscovy duck reaches 12 weeks old, is around the time that they actually start to learn to fly. After 2 years, a Muscovy male will actually become so large that they lose the ability to fly, but the Muscovy female will be able to fly well into the end of their lifespan. At about 29 weeks old is when a Muscovy duckling will finally be fully mature and set on their own to find their own mate. Like I said in the beginning of the video, something very interesting about the Muscovy duck is that they're actually one of the only duck species that can't quack. Instead, they make an almost hissing sound to communicate with one another. On top of the hissing, they also use a combination of head bobbing and tail wagging to communicate. An example of this is during their mating season, both males and female Muscovy ducks will bop their heads up and down to flirt with one another. Now, Muscovy ducks have been living in South Florida since the 1960s, but just how much of a threat can these ducks be to South Florida wildlife? Well, for starters, the Muscovy duck carries a disease that is not normally encountered by native birds here in South Florida. This disease is called duck viral enteritis, which is also known as the duck plague. At this point, one would ask, what should we do with them if they're so invasive? And, well, according to Florida Wildlife Center, the best thing to do with them is just to let them be. Now, an interesting fact is it is actually illegal here in Florida to relocate Muscovy ducks. So, if they're a nuisance and you're having issues with them in your backyard and you no longer want to deal with them, you can either just let them be, or you can call for someone to come in and either try to take them to a sanctuary if possible. If not, usually trappers come in and they kill them as humanely as possible because, again, like I said, it is illegal to relocate them here in Florida. As nice as it might be to feed these ducks at your local parks, you have to realize that they're still wild animals and should be treated as such. That being said, some people still like to feed them, and if you are going to feed them, I would highly recommend staying away from feeding them bread. Bread is the equivalent to junk food for these animals, and it can lead to malnutrition and obesity. If you really feel like you want to feed them and you enjoy this to the point where you just can't stop, things that are safe to feed the Muscovy ducks are cut seedless grapes, cooked rice, bird seeds, peas, corn, oats, and chopped lettuce. On average, the lifespan of Muscovy duck is approximately 7 to 8 years. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something about the Muscovy ducks. Please remember that these are wild creatures and should be treated as such, no matter how cute and cuddly they might be. Till next time, stay safe.